This is KGW News at Sunrise.
I went to Dan, and I knelt down beside him. And I didn't know what to do, so I held his hand.
Day 2 of Nancy Crampton-Brophy's murder trial starts today. She's accused of killing her husband almost 4 years ago. You'll hear from witnesses who called 911.
And a local church doing what it can to help stop the growing gun violence in Portland. How its jazz concert last night is trying to push for a change on the ballot.
And how about this, gang? A little treat on this Tuesday morning. Local favorite, Michael Allen Harrison. That is not a video recording of Michael playing the piano. That is Michael live in our lobby at 5 o'clock in the morning because he is excited about the return of his 10 Grands concert.
Oh, wow.
That's later this month, but the preview is this morning right here on Sunrise. So more piano playing from Michael coming up.
That is an amazing show. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Oh, that is the way to start.
No kidding. I saw that piano when I walked in the lobby this morning. I'm like, hey, we have some new decor.
Going on?
Right,
No, it's just for this
exactly.
morning, but I can't wait to hear him play throughout the morning.
All right, send us off. Get us started.
Man, we had a wild ride to yesterday afternoon. Heavy showers, some thunderstorms, and some good amount of snowfall. We're picking up a little bit of some thunderstorm activity along the northern part of the Oregon coast, but I can tell you what, it's going to be really calm heading into really late morning, early part of the afternoon. I don't expect to see these thunderstorms materialize into the metro area, but if you're traveling over the mountain passes, you are going to be seeing a decent amount of snow showers here in the next couple of hours. We've already seen 15 inches in the last 24 hours. Well, heading into the afternoon, we'll start to see some drier weather, and you guys, things are going to start to warm up starting Wednesday. It gets even better for Thursday. How does 75 degrees sound?
Oh, yeah.
It sounds pretty warm, actually. All right, Joe, we'll have more from Joe coming up here in about 8 minutes, but right now we want to get to our top story this half hour. It's a developing story out of Southeast Portland, where Portland police are looking for the driver who killed a woman in a hit and run. So this happened by the intersection of Southeast Powell and 47th, right near Creston Park. First responders got to the scene just after 10 last night and found the woman dead, but there was no car or no driver anywhere in sight. Police have not told us the name of the victim yet, so we'll update you on that and any other information we get about this accident once we receive those details.
Now to a local murder trial, almost 4 years in the making. This morning, Nancy Crampton-Brophy, a romance novelist accused of killing her husband, will be back in court for the second day.
Yeah, David Molka was going to walk us through the opening day of the trial this morning, but we do want to start with a warning because some of the details here are disturbing, including the 911 call that was made early in the morning back in June of 2018.
I believe I just saw a body on the ground. To my recollection, I didn't even know who it was.
But Kathleen Dooley, a student at Oregon's Culinary Institute in 2018, found out within moments it was Daniel Brophy.
He's one of our chefs, and he's an older man.
All right, is he conscious right now?
No, he is not conscious.
Okay, is he breathing?
No, he is not breathing.
Okay. And is anyone doing CPR?
Yes.
Dorothy Damon, an instructor and the prosecution's second witness, recalled those terrible moments inside the teaching kitchen.
I went to Dan, and I knelt down beside him. And I didn't know what to do, so I held his hand. I wanted to see if he would squeeze it back, and he didn't.
They'll be there. They're coming really fast. They'll be there any second.
They're going to be here any second.
I know you're doing a good job. I know. You're doing a good job. Okay.
Nancy shot him first in the back, penetrating his spine.
And prosecutors allege after he fell, Nancy Brophy shot her husband of 26 years a second time in the chest and through his heart.
The medical examiner concluded that either shot could have been fatal.
The deputy DA presenting a timeline of the case in his opening statement that included video, he says, that showed Nancy driving near the school earlier that morning before any students arrived, alleging she planned the killing in advance, and her motive was purely financial.
Due to a pattern of overspending, they were on track again to be in financial despair within months.
Defense lawyer Lisa Maxwell, in turn, opened by arguing the state's case was merely circumstantial and that the couple were figuring things out.
It is true. In August of 2017, money was very tight for the Brophies. But again, Dan and Nancy came up with a plan that offset the delay in the commission payments.
And Maxwell argued the prosecution's case turned a blind eye to love.
Nancy Crampton-Brophy has always been thoroughly, madly, crazy in love with Daniel Brophy, and she still is today. And Dan Brophy was in love with her.
The love defense. So in the 4 weeks ahead, expect to hear all about multiple life insurance policies, ghost guns, and what defense says Nancy Brophy bought as tools merely to research her romance novels. One thing the jury's not going to hear about, an 11-year-old blog she wrote for a writing seminar called How to Murder Your Husband. The judge ruling that out. David Molko, KGW News.
Well, a Portland State student and former football player has been arrested in the murder of a woman near campus yesterday. He's 20-year-old Keenan Harpole. Police say Harpole agreed to turn himself in his hometown of Bend yesterday and was brought back to Portland. He's accused of shooting a woman outside of a convenience store at Southwest College and 6th early yesterday morning. We're still working to figure out who she was and if the two knew each other. We'll bring that to you when we have it, because she will be the 26th homicide victim in Portland this year. The shooting, one of more than 400 in the city, with Portland releasing a new report, it says, shows it's tackling the violence on several fronts.
It's going to take time to get it down. There is no one thing that you can do to go in there and suddenly overnight reduce gun violence.
So here's what the city points to. The Police Bureau has teams dedicated to preventing gun violence from happening in the first place. Community organizations have received funding to do the same. They've expanded the Park Ranger program, and new neighborhood safety plans include things like improved lighting and those traffic barrels to stop a quick getaway. Well, people are frustrated and, let's face it, overwhelmed by the amount of shootings we've seen, so they're doing what they can to raise awareness. A jazz concert was held at Augustana Lutheran Church last night, and donations went toward a group in favor of getting more restrictive measures when it comes to gun sales on the November ballot.
They can sign online, they can sign the petition online, or basically have to download it and send it in. They can be a volunteer, and it's really innovating and exciting to go out and gather signatures, because people say thank you for doing this. We need to end gun violence.
Yesterday's concert also held a tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who was assassinated on that day in Memphis in 1968.
Here are some of the other headlines that we're tracking for you this morning. A federal judge has certified a class action lawsuit filed by Oregon prisoners who got COVID during the pandemic. OPB reporting the prisoners are challenging how the Department of Corrections made decisions to manage the virus. The judge signed off on two separate things. First, a wrongful death lawsuit, including the 45 adults who died in state custody. The second is for damages and includes anyone who got COVID within 14 days of being incarcerated after February 1st, 2020. The state now has the option to appeal, settle, or take the cases to trial. In Vancouver, the second Safe Stay Homeless Village is set to open on April 13th. This is video of the first village that opened last year on Northeast 51st. The new village will be just off East 4th Plain Boulevard, tucked away behind a Dairy Queen and Papa John's. The site will house up to 40 people as they work to transition out of homelessness. Living Hope Church will manage the site. And the Oregonian reporting this morning, Nike co-founder Phil Knight just gave another $750,000 to the Betsy Johnson campaign, bringing his total contributions to $1 million. Johnson is running for Oregon governor as an independent. Oregon is one of 5 states with no limits on how much money candidates can accept from donors. And those are some of your Tuesday morning headlines.
A new report finds Oregon's unique approach to dealing with drug-related issues has some mixed results so far. Back in 2020, Oregon became the first U.S. state to decriminalize possession of small amounts of drugs like meth, LSD, and heroin. So instead of being a felony, offenders are handed a maximum $100 fine. And they can also have that fine waived if they call for a mental health assessment. But the numbers show few of those people actually do. Out of roughly 2,000 people cited since decriminalization, only 92 of them called the hotline. Those in charge of implementing the new law say they're surprised more people who were ticketed didn't take advantage of those treatment options, but they also say, in their opinion, it's too early to judge this new approach.
We're looking back at the 2020 wildfire season, of course, one of the worst on record. 1,600 fires in the Northwest, thousands of homes and buildings burned, forcing many to evacuate. Some are still displaced. Devastating seasons like that leave scars not only on the land, but on so many lives. That's why organizations helping rebuild are so important. An Oregon woman who helped create the Santiam Canyon Wildfire Relief Fund getting national attention now. The nonprofit has raised $4 million. Cindy Sharon was just recognized as one of USA Today's Women of the Year for Oregon. Her and others are recognized for resilience and drive in their communities. We first spoke with Sharon and her family in September of that year. They had just learned their home in Gates had burned. Now, a year and a half later, they're in the home stretch of rebuilding. Sharon says she shares the award with the community in the canyon.
I think everybody kind of felt like it was their award too, because we were all in this together. And I never felt like it was just me. I felt like it was us.
For now, Sharon's husband is doing most of the work, rebuilding their house. They hope it'll be done by July.
All right, one more story before we get to today's forecast. This one is about, well, it's kind of part bus, part accordion, because we're talking about articulated or tandem buses. TriMet is adding these to their fleet to speed up rides. So these are going to run on TriMet's first FX or Frequent Express bus line. And as you can see, they are significantly longer.
This is a Nova bus. It's 62 feet long versus our other buses are 41.5 feet long. It is a low floor like the other part of the fleet. It's also diesel powered and has a capacity of up to, we're anticipating 100 customers on board.
And so that's the advantage of this bus, it can hold a lot more people, is that what?
A lot more people.
62 feet in length, my friends. The FX line, by the way, will ride up and down Division Street between inner Southeast Portland and Gresham. Driver training, we're told, is starting right now with service beginning sometime this fall.
Like a blast from the past.
Around the corner.
Remember those old buses, though? Like a long time ago, we had those all around Portland.
I'm thinking about like Kramer on the back of that fire.
Oh, yeah.
I've got the bus.
Can you imagine trying to parallel that, park that thing? Not that you have to, but
I can't imagine parking one of those
Get
buses.
out of my way, I'm the bus driver.
I'm just going to pull in here and find a spot. But yeah, like, that's great to see, the training, a little more jobs coming into the metro area. Well, and looking at the forecast, you guys, we're going to be seeing things improve over the next couple of days. Not so much here the next couple of hours. We are picking up kind of a tail end of some heavy downpours at times along the Oregon coast. We saw some thunderstorms along the northern Oregon beaches right before we started off the morning show. But you travel over the mountain passes, man, you are just going to be seeing a couple more inches of snow, maybe 3 to 5 above 4,000 feet, right around Government Camp, where you're seeing snow-covered roads this morning. You could be looking at 1 to 3 inches of new snow, and it's been really piling up here the last couple of days. Here's a live look now from the Rose City camera. A temperature of 42 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. Now, there's a slight chance we see some spotty showers, mainly throughout your morning commute, but heading into the afternoon, we're going to be seeing some blue skies above. As we look at the timestamp here, 9 o'clock this morning, still picking up some heavier cells just through parts of East Multnomah County. You'll notice the snow continues to add up along the coast, and since yesterday morning, some locations along the mountains have seen close to 15, 16 inches of new snow, and you can see by tonight we'll look at clear skies, and those clear skies will allow for some cool temperatures tomorrow morning. Now, there's still a threat of some thunderstorms mainly throughout parts of southwest Washington and along the northern part of the Oregon coast. That's basically until this late morning. By the afternoon, things will really kind of quiet down. So today, 54 degrees will be the daytime high. Look at Wednesday, 65. It gets even better on Thursday with temperatures in the mid-70s. Then we'll fall back to more of a cool and showery weather pattern, and snow levels start to drop late Saturday night into Sunday down to 1,000 feet. West Hills could see some light accumulations in a few locations heading into the early morning hours on Sunday. Back to you guys.
That right there is Michael Allen Harrison performing live this morning in our lobby. We rolled in the grand piano, and we've got one of our local favorites in the world of music performing for us because his very popular 10 Grands concert is coming back to the Schnitz downtown. So full details on that with more piano from Michael Allen Harrison coming up in just a few minutes here on Sunrise.